Welcome, everybody, to the Third Realm podcast, aka the Trip Show, where our unconscious minds meet and the transformation begins. I am your host, Maegan Kenney, transpersonal therapist and owner of Third Realm Integration Coaching and Consulting, which is a conscious medicine healing program that I will certainly be talking more about while on the show. And I am the soon-to-be owner of my new Etsy shop called Third Realm Studio, where you will be able to find more of my cosmic content, if you will. I am thrilled to be here. It's been a while. I've been teasing the idea of the Third Realm Integration podcast, aka the Trip Show, which is I know it feels a little redundant because it's T.R.I.P, Third Realm Integration Podcast. And then I'm throwing the word show at the end of it. But I just can't. It's like life is a trip show. You know what I mean? My life is a trip show. The world is a absolute trip show right now. So I just can't help myself. So I know it's a bit redundant and maybe not grammatically correct. But, throw caution to the wind now and again. Who cares? I am excited to be here. I used to host a podcast. Some of you may already know that, whether you know me personally or you recognize my voice. That is a little show called The Dictionary Podcast that is no longer in existence. And it's been a while since I've been back on the airwaves. Very excited to be here. This show is going to be very different, I would say. Maybe some of the content will be the same. In fact, some of the content will be the same because those of you that followed the last show saw where I went towards the end there with the psychedelic medicine episodes that I did and all the spirituality aspects that I brought in at that time because I was really going through my own journey. Still am going through my own developmental journey. And I use the podcast really as a way to reflect that and transmit the information that I'm learning not only about myself, but in my travels. And I'm a researcher at heart. I'm also a researcher in the real world. And then I apply that therapeutically in my coaching practice. And I am knee deep in some of the most badass research that exists out there, as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to healing and doing it in a newfound way. Different than how the medical model or the mainstream traditional therapy space would operate. And as a former traditionally trained therapist and trained clinical psychologist that made a hard right turn into a totally different direction of how I conceptualize healing and how I conceptualize the human mind and the role that spirituality plays in that, I am now a transpersonal therapist. And so I am going to be talking all about that on this show. Transpersonal meaning the whole person, but not just the person from their biology up into their environment and then maybe even their ancestry, but the whole person from the grassroots ground level all the way up to the cosmos and the heavens and back. So it's you as the whole person, only whole in relationship to that whole system. And that's what transpersonal means. A lot of people don't know what that word actually means. And so in that inherently comes the nature of spirituality. And so I am here on this podcast to talk all about those elements, to share my perspectives, the knowledge that I have about these subjects, the wisdom that I've gained through going through my own journey. I'm happy to share some of that here as well. I am probably going to keep a different format though this time around than I did on the last show. On the Dictionary, I had a lot of guests and I had a lot of people share their amazing stories, and that I think serves one function. And I think I'm looking for, I'm going into this podcast with a different intention. So here's my goal. And I hope you'll ride this wave with me and check in and listen to these episodes. And then check out my coaching and consulting program and see how you may potentially benefit from the services that I offer, whether that's working with me one-on-one or checking out my blog on my website at thirdrealmintegration.com, or checking out my Etsy shop and being able to get my support in a more like time limited fashion, not the one-on-one coaching that I do over the long term. Let's say that doesn't appeal to you. You're going to be able to get access to the method that I've developed, the program that I've put together and designed, and you'll be able to get access to that content in a variety of different ways. So I encourage you to tune into the show to hear more about that, to hear more about how I do the work that I do and the perspective that I have, and whether or not this could help you or help somebody you know. And so the third realm is a very interesting space. I named my business in my program after I was inspired by an article that I read having to do with Jungian psychology called The Analytic Third. So I am going to break all of that down, what the third realm means, and all of the different elements that are a part of the vision that I had when I came up with my program. So all of the things that we're going to be talking about on this show, we're going to jam pack into this podcast. I am aiming to not have guests the way that I did on the last podcast, and really just do like 1 or 2 episodes a month, maybe half hour, maybe an hour, just me talking about very specific constructs related to the world of transpersonal psychology and healing. That has everything to do with how our unconscious mind works and operates. It also has everything to do with how I approach this idea of holistic healing. And so I'm going to be talking about all of those aspects. Psychedelic medicine, meditation, heart-centered meditation, which is my area of specialty. That's the method that I use, and I use it in a few different ways. I also incorporate astrology also. So we'll certainly be talking about astrology, natal astrology, the role that the mandala or symbol of your own natal chart, which is the map of what the sky looked like the minute that you came into this world and you incarnated into physical form as a human being, what role that can play in your healing journey and how it can help you build insights into deeper aspects and patterns of your own unconscious mind. So we'll be talking about astrology. We'll be talking about spirituality, because how can you talk about astrology and not talk about spirituality? However, if you are an atheist, but you believe in science, this also might appeal to you. This work also might appeal to you. If you believe science is a body of wisdom that is bigger than you, then that is some sort of spiritual or faith-based system. Even if you don't believe in spirits or entities, if you believe in science, then you must believe in energy and electromagnetic fields and vibration and frequency in the world of quantum physics. A lot of my work is rooted in those theoretical applications. And so even if you don't have like a god or several gods, or you don't believe in the power of prayer, this still might resonate with you. Maybe the universe is your higher power, if you will. As long as you can drop into the concept that you as a human being isn't the maker of the world, you're not the maker here, neither is your mind. And there are other aspects of wisdom and intelligence that we can tap into that far exceeds the capacity of your own egoic mind, then you're in the right space. You just have to believe that you're not the one driving the boat on all aspects of your own knowledge. If you do think that you're the center of your own universe, well, then yeah, maybe the show really isn't for you. So, we're also going to talk about aspects of mental health. As a traditionally trained therapist, I do work in the space of mental health. I do believe that the techniques that I use and the methods that I use and the way that I've constructed my program is the way that you heal from mental health challenges and disorders. So, all of that together is going to be what makes up the T.R.I.P show. Yes, it is going to be a trip. We are going to go on a ride, but we're going to stay as grounded as possible in this, because I'm all about making a lot of this cosmic information very digestible, very relatable, and very easy to understand, rooted in something real. And so I'm going to break it down as simply as I possibly can, even though these are very complex topics that we're going to be covering. And I want to make it so if you are here seeking wisdom and seeking knowledge. And there's certainly a reason why you have found this show. Make no mistake about it. That's what Jung would call synchronicity. Meaningful coincidences, because there is no such thing as just a coincidence. Things don't just happen by mistake. There is a reason why you're here and hearing this information. Then ideally, I want you to be able to sort of sink into what these concepts are and really be able to apply them to your own life and fully understand them. I will say I feel like through my own journey and the arcs of my own journey, and my life has been really nothing short of just wild and crazy and fascinating and amazing and certainly not boring. I have really come to a place where I kind of feel like my role on this planet, at least at this stage of the game, is to find the depths of my own healing journey, but to not just stay there with it. It's like how Jung talked about the work being done on the self so then it can translate beyond. So through all of the deeper work that I've done on myself and I don't know that I'd call it an obsession, but I am absolutely fully dedicated and committed to doing really deep work on myself and setting myself free of my own unconscious patterns that keep me stuck in a reactive state. And I speak from the inside out. You know, I'm the teacher who's also the student. I wouldn't be up here talking about all of these things to people every day and teaching them how to move through this stuff if I haven't already walked through it myself. I have found the relief on the other side using meditation and all of these other holistic and spiritual approaches to life. And my role, I believe, is to really just share that. Being able to find a way to communicate that out to the people who need to hear it. So we're going to be talking about Jungian psychology, absolutely depth psychology, transpersonal psychology, and that just incorporates all of the elements that I've already covered here. So we are also probably going to be doing some, I don't know, maybe some meditations. Maybe I'll drop a little meditation wisdom on here and take you through some short, condensed versions of my guided meditations to give you guys just a little taste of kind of what I do incorporate into my individual coaching work. And you are always welcome to reach out to me with questions, or if you actually want to do the work one-on-one, whether it's over the short term or the long term, feel free to visit the website thirdrealmintegration.com. All of this information is in the notes below. You can also send an email to info@thirdrealmintegration.com, and you can find me on Facebook or Instagram at Third Realm Integration. And today's just the teaser. So that's just it. I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to invite you guys to take the journey with me and join me every month for a topic of my choosing in the space of depth or transpersonal psychology, and then how I apply that therapeutically, both in my own life and how I walk clients through the journey. So feel free to check out my website to find out more about the range of services that I offer. And I think that's it, you guys. Stay wild, stay free, and I will catch you on the next episode. Stay tuned. We are putting the teaser out right now, but there are more episodes coming down the pike once I wrap up this primary phase of my research project. So I would give it a few more weeks until I have some more episodes coming out. But share this with friends, share it with family, share it on your social media pages. Let people know where they can find the wisdom inherent in the third realm. So I will catch you here on the next episode. May the light always lead the way. Be well, my friends. Bye for now. The Third Realm Integration Podcast and related content is intended to provide information and/or entertainment only and is not a substitute for mental health or medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Do not delay mental health or medical consultation or substitute a mental health or medical professional's opinion because of what you heard on this show. Seek the advice of your physician or another qualified health provider with any questions you may have regarding a mental health or medical condition. The host of this podcast does not provide emergency support for mental health or medical issues. For questions or concerns, visit your local emergency room or contact your doctor.